and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jody. And if you're not new here, thank you so much for your continued support. So on my channel, I talk about Broadway and books. And in today's video, I'll be continuing my Broadway show series where I talk about every Broadway show I ever saw over the 20 years I was seeing Broadway shows on a regular basis. Also known as the best years of my life. Yeah. They were the best years of my life because I was seeing shows. So today I'll be talking about the 12th Broadway show I ever saw. And I won't be going over what I usually go over in this series because today I'll be talking about a show I talked about in the series already. So I'll just go over who was in the cast, what was in the playbill, and just a little bit of a fun story of why this particular time seeing a Broadway show was very memorable for me all these years later. So without any further ado, let's get on to the show I'll be talking about. So my 12th Broadway show was the Broadway musical Rent. This was my second time seeing Rent on Broadway, and I saw it in June 2001 on a bus trip. So now for what's in the playbill. The credits, the cast list, the musical numbers, and there's a little bit of a thing in here about how all the characters are connected to one another. So I'll also show that. So I saw this show for the first time in February of 2000. I forget now. I saw this show twice, and I was gonna say a lot of the same cast was probably in it because I think there were a few cast members that were the same the first time and the second time. And so yeah, Karen Olivia was still in the show, Jade Rodriguez, and I remember, you know, the first time I talked about Rent, they were also in the show. I don't know if they were like I think Karen Olivia was just like she was a swing and an understudy. I don't think she was normally in the show, but Jade Rodriguez. Yeah, he was, I don't know. He was also a swing and an understudy because I don't see him in the regular cast list. But Kendra Kesselbaum was also at my performance. I believe she's been in Wicked and Come From Away. And Lorraine Valles was at my performance as well. I believe she played Mimi because I looked at the cast list before I made this video. Yeah, Kendra Kesselbaum played Mark's mom and others, and then Lorraine Valles played Mimi, which is one of the main characters. Yeah, Lorraine Valles, she was on the show Dexter, so that's pretty cool that I got to see her in a Broadway show before she did that TV show. So now for anything interesting in the playbill. Let's see. So as you can see, I saw it in June 2001, and then there was a little thing in here about Susan Stroman, because at the time she had three of her shows on Broadway that she had choreographed and directed. The producers, the Music Man revival at the time, and there was another Music Man revival before the recent one, and Contact. So, sorry, the lighting is not great. Then I just talked about 42nd Street in my previous video, and they had a whole article in here because the show probably had officially opened at this point, I would think. And then let's see, anything else. There's one more thing. There was a revival of the Rocky Horror Picture Show that was playing in Circle Square at the time, and there was an article in here about like super fans that had seen the show multiple times. And you know, I'm a bit of a super fan for certain shows too. I never actually got to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show when it was on Broadway, but that would have been pretty cool because I believe it was Raul Esparza's Broadway debut. But yeah, there was an article in here about like the super fans that had seen the show multiple times. And then Kristen Chenoweth, I guess, had an album coming out, Borders. Remember that? Remember Borders? The only show that I've seen like a lot was Xanadu. I saw it 10 times. Would have been 11 had the show not closed. And then I think Rock of Ages, I might have seen 11 or 12. I don't remember. Oh, and then there was a thing here about Tony Roberts. Speaking of Xanadu, he was in Xanadu. And then Eric McCormick had just joined the cast of The Music Man. So I really wanted to see him in that, but can't see them all, right? And then there was a TV show on PBS that used to be on Fridays at midnight, and it would be like a talk show for like theater stuff. Like theater performers would come on and talk about their show, and creative teams from Broadway shows would come on, talk about the show. And I love that show because it was just so made for people who love theater, and that was Theater Talk. Guys, any of you out there remember that show? I love that show. Let's see. I think that's it for anything in the playbill. And then I'll just let you know what show I'll be talking about next. Kiss Me Kate, right down there. That's the show I'll be talking about next, my 13th Broadway show. And before I go, this particular performance of Rent was a memorable one in the sense that, I guess I'll just say how I like the show. I forget I don't think I talked about that. A Cliff Notes version. I really like this show. It's an iconic show. The score is great. It's even a show all these years later that I remember really enjoying, and it's a very memorable production, and I really liked it. And why this particular time seeing Rent was something I remember was, I'm sure I love the performances and the show, just as much as I did the first time. I mean, it's been 20 plus years. You have to give me credit for not remembering not give credit, but like, I don't remember everything, but obviously I can remember if I like the show, I like the show. But at the time, I think there was a new off-Broadway musical that was either had started or was about to start, and they were promoting the show with a flyer in this playbill. A flyer that I'm sure I have, because I never would have got rid of it, but it's not on my playbill, so it's somewhere. And if I find it, I'll show you guys eventually. But Tick Tick Boom was either had started or was going to start, and because it's about Jonathan Larson's life, they were promoting it in the playbills for Rent at the time. And Raul Esparza played Jonathan Larson in this production, the first production of Tick Tick Boom that I guess played off Broadway. I think it was the Jane Street Theater. And I remember hearing of Raul when he was in Rocky Horror Picture Show. I didn't get to see him in that, but when I heard he was going to be in Tick Tick Boom, I really wanted to see this show. I never probably was going to. I never did get to see. I never actually have seen a production of Tick Tick Boom on the stage, but I really wanted to see that production of Tick Tick Boom just because I'm like a super fan of Raul Esparza now, and it just would have been so great to have seen him in that. But whatever. I'm just basically getting at it was really cool to have been able to be aware of Tick Tick Boom in its very early stages of being off Broadway, because like everyone knows about it now probably because of the Netflix original film, but it's pretty cool to know about shows when they first start. So I thought I'd just point out that little story. It was probably pointless, but if you like theater, maybe you enjoyed it. So yeah, today I talked about my 12th Broadway show, which was my second time seeing Rent. And be sure to stay tuned for my next video in this series where I talk about my 13th Broadway show. Like I mentioned already, I'll be talking about my time seeing Kiss Me Kate. So that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, bye.